So today, we're going to dive into one of history's most incredible transformations. It's the story of Siddhartha Gautama, a prince who literally gave up a kingdom to find a path to peace, a path that would end up changing the world forever.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, why would a prince, a guy who had everything you could possibly dream of, just walk away from it all? What could he possibly be looking for that was better than that? Well, let's find out.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story begins in what you could only call a gilded cage, a perfect prison.
You see, Siddhartha was born into royalty, and his father, the king, was absolutely determined to protect him from any kind of suffering. He built this perfect, flawless little world inside the palace walls, a place where things like getting old or sick or even seeing death were totally hidden from sight.
So on the one hand, his life looked perfect. Palaces, gold, every pleasure you can imagine. But on the inside, something else was going on. A deep, nagging feeling of emptiness started to grow. All that luxury, it just couldn't silence the big questions bubbling up inside him about life and meaning and suffering.
And that's the real paradox of his early life, isn't it? He literally had everything anyone could ever want, and yet he felt this profound sense of emptiness. He was starting to get that maybe, just maybe, real peace couldn't be bought.
But everything was about to change. A few trips outside the palace were about to completely shatter his perfect little world and send his life in a totally new direction. So for the very first time, Siddhartha actually goes out beyond the palace gates. And what he's about to see is the raw, unfiltered truth of the world, the very reality his father had tried so desperately to hide from him. On these journeys, he saw four things that would change his destiny forever. First, he saw an old man, and for the first time, he truly understood aging. Then he saw a sick man and understood illness. Then he saw a dead body, and he understood death. But then he saw a fourth sight, a calm, peaceful monk, an ascetic. And a new thought sparked. Maybe, just maybe, there was a way out of all this suffering.
I mean, this was the moment it all clicked. The walls of that perfect prison his father had built just came crashing down. He realized that all his money, his status, his palaces, none of it could protect him, or anyone, from these basic truths of being alive. But you know what? This shocking realization didn't crush him. Not at all. It lit a fire inside him. It pushed him to make an absolutely radical choice, and to start a years-long, grueling search for an answer to the problem of suffering. So at just 29 years old, he does the unthinkable. He leaves it all behind. His title, his palace, his wife, his newborn son. For 6 long years, he goes to the other extreme, practicing intense self-denial, basically starving himself, pushing his body and mind to the absolute limit. It was only then, at age 35, that he realized there had to be another way. And man, did he go all in. He basically swung from one extreme to the complete opposite. He traded his royal silks for beggar's rags and just embraced this life of severe hardship. He thought that if he could conquer his body through pain, he could set his mind free. But here's the thing he figured out. This super harsh path, it was a dead end. He realized that torturing his body just made his mind weaker and foggier. The answer wasn't in total luxury, and it wasn't in total self-denial. It was somewhere in between. A balanced path he would later call the middle way. Okay, so this is it. This is the moment everything has been building towards. After realizing that balance was key, Siddhartha got ready for one last, focused push to find the understanding he'd been chasing for so long. He finds this spot in a place we now call Bodh Gaya, and he sits down under a large Bodhi tree. And with this incredible resolve, he makes a vow to himself, to the universe. He was not getting up from that spot until he had the answer. Period. Now, as he meditated, he faced his final test. And it wasn't some monster from the outside. No, this battle was all internal. The stories call this force Mara, a demon who is really just a symbol for all his own doubts, his fears, his desires, his ego, everything that was keeping his mind trapped in confusion. He fought that battle all night long, and then, just as the morning star rose in the sky, he broke through. All the illusions just fell away. He saw the nature of reality with crystal clarity. He had done it. He had reached nirvana.
And right there, in that moment, he wasn't Prince Siddhartha anymore. He became the Buddha. And, Buddha isn't a name, it's a title. It simply means the awakened one. He didn't become a god, he just woke up.
So, what do you do after you've basically figured out the secrets of the universe? I mean, you could just enjoy that state of peace forever, right? But the Buddha made a different, more compassionate choice. He decided to teach others the path he had found.
For an incredible 45 years, he just walked. He wandered the roads of India, teaching anyone who was willing to listen, from kings and queens in their palaces to the poorest of the poor on the street. He shared what he'd found with everyone.
And his core message? It's really profound, but also kind of simple when you boil it down. He said our suffering doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from our own minds, from our constant craving and attachment, our desperate need for things to be different than they are. But crucially, he said there was a way out, a practical path anyone could follow.
And this idea, it just flips everything we're taught on its head, doesn't it? We spend our entire lives looking for peace and happiness out there, in stuff, in jobs, in other people. The Buddha said, nope, you're looking in the wrong place. True, lasting peace can only be found by looking within.
He really drilled down on the power we have right between our ears. Our thoughts aren't just little passive things. They actively create our reality. The way we think, the story we tell ourselves, that becomes the world we live in. And we'll leave you with maybe his most game-changing insight. The Buddha taught that in life, pain is gonna happen. It's inevitable. We'll get sick, we'll lose people we love, we'll get old. But the suffering, the mental anguish, the story we add on top of the pain, that, he said, is optional. And learning how to let that go, well, that's a truly powerful